Summer is here, and that means lots of special occasions. And for us as hairdressers, that means lots of special occasion styling. I'm Kelly Rettenberger, trainer for John Paul Mitchell Systems, here to share with you some tips and tricks and some of my must-have products that I keep in my kit at all times. I'm going to be sharing 3 styles with you, loaded with tips and tricks, and showcasing those products that I just can't live without. These are really the products that I consider my special occasion assistants, the products that I have to set me up for success. We've got a lot to get into, but make sure that you are subscribed here to the Paul Mitchell Pro page so you don't miss out on great hair content. Let's go ahead and get into styling. For all of today's looks, I wanted to start out with a smooth look with a bit of wave and bounce. I chose to go through with the Express Gold Curl 1.5 iron. This is really the perfect iron when you're just looking for a beautiful bit of wave. Now we're going to add in some extra texture using the Undone Texture Hairspray from Paul Mitchell's Invisiblewear category. This hairspray is truly a favorite of mine because it helps give a bit more of a rumpled feel to the hair. It adds that great texture, but it's not stiff or sticky. So you can see that I'm just adding it in at the root and mid shafts and going through and working it in with my fingers. This is just adding that extra volume. As you can see here, just going through finger combing, and then we're going to add a bit more volume at the base by just ruching big sections with the Paul Mitchell 413 sculpting brush. This quick step really helps me ensure that as I pull this section back, it's not going to be flat to her head. She's going to have a bit of movement and volume, which will look great in pictures. So as we're going through into this next step, I'm looking for that nice side swept over the shoulder feel, but a lot of times you can see here as I'm putting a bobby pin in, trying to secure that nape, it can really easily slip out. So if your guest's going to be dancing and having fun all night, her hairstyle will start to slip. So this is a great tip. I'm just going through with a diagonal section and making sure that I cross over to the opposite side of her nape. I'm just going to take a clip and section the rest of that hair aside. It really just makes it easier for me to work. So gently twisting that entire section back, you can see I carry over into the opposite side. I'm going to take a small piece of hair and we're going to secure that to the large section with a clear hair tie. So you could use a dark hair tie if you're working on someone with a dark fabric, but this clear hair tie is just going to be nice and invisible on this canvas. So I'm just wrapping it over that section and then securing both with that clear hair tie. So this hair tie is going to stay secure all night long. Your guests can have a lot of fun, shake it on the dance floor, and not have to worry about her hair slipping out. And it's great because it helps secure those nape hairs that sometimes can really start to work their way out of a bobby pin. And you can see here, to tighten that section, I just take that one strand, that one long nape strand, and push gently down to the base. So here we have a very secure nape, and now I can start to dress out the hair. So I'm going to take this hair down and just use bobby pins, hairpins to finish that out and make sure that that hair tie is covered. So really the bobby pins here are just for finishing work. They're not holding the hair in place. We did that with that hair tie that'll last all night long. And now I'm going to be adding in some hold and volume with the Extra Body Finishing Spray. This is my #1 ride or die hairspray. I love that this spray adds volume and body. It gives great shine and has humidity resistance, but it's still workable. You can see I can comb my fingers through this. I can brush this out if I need to restyle the hair. You will see I use this same mannequin for all 3 styles, and it's very brushable, touchable hold. Moving into our second style, I'm just taking a diagonal section from behind the ear to the top of the head. I'm going to take this section and clip it away. Again, this just really helps me keep everything nice and clean and orderly. And then I will do the same on the opposite side. Now we're going to go in with Invisiblewear Cloud Whip. This styling cream truly is a must-have for me when I'm styling because it has an almost cream to powder finish. It has a beautiful satin feel with that velvet flower, so it really helps control errant hairs and gives a beautiful polish without being too shiny, and it doesn't weigh down the hair. So you'll find that every section that I work with in this style, I take a small amount of the Cloud Whip and really help control that fabric. So here again, taking a 413 and just brushing this hair up into place for a ponytail that's about at mid-occipital. The placement of this ponytail could certainly change depending on what you and your guest are looking for, but I do like it about midway up the head, and you'll see here as we go through, I tie the ponytail completely, but then I'm going to take a section and push that ponytail back through. So you can see here, I've opened that section and I'm just pushing that hair back through and looping it and leaving the ends still in that ponytail. So you can see I haven't completely pulled the hair through. Now I'm just shaping that hair. I'm really making a loop, almost like a bit of a French twist, but it will have a little bit of extra flair to it and extra separation. We'll be using that to anchor other sections in this hair. So I'm really just going to take maybe one bobby pin or two to secure that section, that loop that we pulled through. You can see I've left the ends out. As I go through, I'm just going to leave the ends out as I secure the sections. I can detail them and dress them out at the end. Adding a bit of extra body finishing spray, you'll see that I go through and I address the little flyaways with every section, because if these sections crisscross, they sort of counteract each other, I won't be able to push those hairs into place and they'll pop out. So it's important to do that step every step along the way. Spray before you take another section. So here, just a little bit more cloud whip, really controlling that fabric, but you can see we still have volume, we still have a nice satin finish. Just taking a few hairline hairs out. Obviously, that's depending on preference. Here I'm taking that entire side section and using my fingers to just grab that section through that loop that we made with that ponytail, the one that we just pinned in place. I did pin that section in place. I'm sorry that you don't see that in the footage here, but doing the same on the other side, just gently wrapping that hair around and securing with another pin underneath that loop from the ponytail. So really, it's only about one, maybe two bobby pins that you might need for each section. You'll see that I do decide to open the bobby pin just so that I can really encapsulate that entire section of hair as we go through. And again, I've just left the ends open on each of those sections so that I can finish them out. Really taking the time to address each section, make sure that those hairs are smoothed down. You can use a bit of spray if you need to, but really Cloud Whip just really helps keep all of those flyaways down. But that's really going to help you in your finishing work. If you find in photos that you see those little baby hairs, it probably just means that you need to take a bit more time to address that. Here, I'm just detailing those ends that I left out. You might choose to leave some of them out for a wispier feel, but I just chose to pin them in. And you can see I was using the tail comb to just help tuck that in. Again, here I'm using a tail comb to just smooth in some flyaway hairs. The tail comb tends to stick less to the hair than your fingers do, so it helps make sure that you don't pull up extra hairs. And I just spray that in place. So just detailing and smoothing. Now here is a key tip from me to you. Take a step back from your work, look from the side and the profile to see if there's any little curl or hair popping out that you don't want to see in the shape. So here you can see I don't like the way that that loop is popping up, so I'm just going to take one hairpin, push it down into the style so you get a really nice clean profile. Here is the finished look. It's just a beautiful take on somewhere between a French twist and a chignon, and very drapey but still very secure. Now I've brushed out our mannequin for style 3. I'm just going through with large hairpins, just gently pulling that hair back into a more natural shape. And I'm just using those large hairpins almost like extra fingers. I wish I had 4 hands, but I don't. I'm sure you guys can all feel me. But when we feel like we could use some extra fingers to secure hair, these work really well. They'll be easy to pull out later, and this will just ensure that I'm not pulling and moving those hairs around. It's going to stay in a more natural form. I'm going through with Invisiblewear's Pump Me Up spray. This is a great texturizing powder spray. I'm just working it into my hands rather into the hair. This really just gives me some control, and I'm looking to add some texture to this fabric. As I go through, if you find that when you braid or twist the hair, it tends to just slip and be a little too silky, this is a great product for that. It just helps add some lightweight texture, so as I go through, I can pinch and pull these sections and expand them a bit more easily. So you'll find that you can see a little bit more on this second side as I go through. Again, just spraying a little bit of the Pump Me Up powder into my hands and then working that through those strands. Again, this is great on virgin hair, on hair that's maybe a little extra slippy and shiny. It just gives you the control that you need to expand those sections. So just crossing 2 sections together as I go back And I like to work almost like you do when you work with a braid. So make sure that you are twisting in the direction that you're looking to drape the hair, and just taking little sections and pinching and pulling. So the smaller the section you take as you pinch and pull, the more expanded you can make the shape. So taking a little bit more time means that you can get a bigger twist or braid. And again, just using a bobby pin to secure that in place. And you can see how those large hairpins have helped keep that hair secure. That hair that's draping over the back is really staying in section and maintaining a slightly piecey look. Now going through with hairpins just to detail if there's anywhere I can see a bobby pin. I just like to take some hair from the previous twist and tuck it over that bobby pin. So just addressing these little hairs, another hairpin, and we are good to go. All right, so now with the hair that's remaining, I'm going to take 3 sections. 1 slightly bigger section on the inside and 2 smaller on the outside. I'm going to take that middle section once I get a nice clean sectioning and use another clear hair tie at the end to control those edges. And then we're simply going to wrap this up into a bit of a chignon shape. So that hair tie is going to make sure that all of those little ends are encapsulated, and it just really helps give me some control. So I only need 2 bobby pins here, I think, just to help control and work with that shape, and then just using my fingers to pinch and pull and expand, and of course a little extra body finishing spray. So now we're going to take those side sections and just do a single twist. So I'm taking that complete section, just twisting over the side. I'll give it a bit of a pinch and pull to expand if needed, and then pin in place. And of course I do the same on the other side. You can see I just tucked those free ends into the chignon. And once you have this pinned in place, you can continue to pinch and pull to expand the shape as desired. And then once you have everything set, it's time to pull out those hairpins. You can see I'm using 1 to pull out the rest. Just in case my fingers have gotten sticky, I won't pull out any hairs, and just addressing the hairline with a little bit of extra body finishing spray. I think that this is a picture that we get a lot of requests for. It's a really simple bridal style. It doesn't take very long at all, and you can see it's going to look great in photos because there aren't a lot of flyaways. Everything is clean and smooth and detailed, and it will stay put all night. All right, I loved getting to share with you some of my favorite products in my styling kit. And I know whether it's for bridal season, whether you're just looking to up your style game on your social media account, I know that these products will help you. And I really hope that you enjoyed some of the tips and tricks that I shared with you today. If you found something helpful that you're going to utilize next time, please go ahead and drop into the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much on behalf of Paul Mitchell. Again, my name is Kelly Rettenberger, and I will see you really soon.